I think we've got to continue to do a hard sell on the space program, regardless of whether or not Mission 14 is a complete success or an only partial success. I think it's incumbent on us to learn as much about outer space as we can, to maintain a position of leadership in the exploration of outer space. I hate to see us lose the initiative and to fall behind the Soviet Union in this most important aspect of technological advance.
Do you feel that there is a general feeling of a need for ethics finally?
I hope so. I supported it 2 years ago and 4 years ago in losing causes in the House, and I think this year that we shall win finally with the ethics bill and the constitutional amendment regarding the ethics commission.
Do you feel that having this same commission the authority to set salaries of legislators will give it difficulty in having it passed by the people?
I don't feel that it should.
In the most spirited debate of the 3-week-old legislature, the House of Representatives approved a constitutional amendment creating an independent commission to write and oversee a code of ethics for all state officials and employees. Most debate was not on ethics, but on details and procedures, such as this argument by Mrs. Frances Farenthold, representative of Corpus Christi.
The first problem I had was with the structure of the commission, and I think Mr. Nugent has done a splendid job in changing the manner in which they would be appointed. But secondly, and most seriously, and a matter that I cannot overlook, is the fact that I believe we're actually taking statutory material and putting it in the Constitution.
Some representatives indicated that they felt that the commission would have too much power, but they had to vote for it because of public sentiment in favor of ethics bills at this time. The Republicans in the House, all but one, voted against the Code of Ethics bill. Will Lee of Houston said that it's because the legislature is copping out by giving it to a commission. The legislature should handle it itself. He also said that the power to change legislator salaries should be reserved to the people and not turned over to a commission. Tomorrow, here in the House of Representatives, debate will continue on constitutional amendments, including one that would remove most of the ceilings on welfare and one which would allow the governor's $450 million bond issue to take effect. Representative Ben Atwell of Dallas, who is chairman of the House Revenue and Taxation Committee, is handling the governor's bond issue proposal, but he admits that it probably will lose. In lieu of that, I asked him what would come next.
We have a proposal to increase the present sales tax three-quarters of a cent up to 4%, round off 4%, which wouldn't be 5% if the city has a sales tax.
Would this still include the present exemptions on groceries and medicine?
Exactly as it is now. That's correct.
Would this be a large portion of the revenue or all of the revenue that has been talked about?
No, I think we'd have to have some more for the rest of this biennium, at least, to meet this obligation of $70 million.
Atwell said that the sales tax increase will be planned to take effect soon so that it can provide some of that needed emergency supplemental money. This is Roger McDonald, Channel 8 News on the Move in Austin.
I'm sure that there's a legitimate explanation for this, and I don't think it's going to have any appreciable effect. It's difficult to gauge right now because the story just broke this morning, and I don't even know the details of it myself. But I would be very disinclined to think that there was anything that was improper about it.
For maybe a day or two, and that's it. So the experimentation is very limited off Broadway.
It's easy to The cotton export outlook for the next couple of years is good, but we can't stop and rest on laurels. These are the words of Clarence Palmby, Assistant Agriculture Secretary, one of several guest speakers here to address the Cotton Council. Palmby said the United States and Russia have good positions in the world cotton market, not only because of good acreage and good production, but also because other countries, such as Mexico and Brazil, have had bad cotton crops.
That means that the export outlook for us is somewhat brighter, and factually we had one of the best months we've had for a long, long time last December. And so there is some reason to believe that our exports will be up substantially from last year. And truthfully, if we had a little bit more in the warehouses of some staple lengths, we would have a still larger export market. That's why it is so important that we do produce a good crop of cotton this year.
Several recommendations are expected to come from tomorrow's session concerning the future of cotton. The main recommendation will be that farmers be allowed to plant cotton on their set-aside land. Even though they would not receive subsidy payments on the extra cotton, they also wouldn't be penalized for overproduction of their product. All the recommendations coming from the meeting are expected to revolve around putting pressure on the Department of Agriculture to encourage farmers to plant as much as 100% cotton in order to stay on top in the world market and to eliminate the possible short supply of cotton. Jerry Park, Channel 8 News on the Move at the National Cotton Council meeting.
This is the first year that we're having our own tournaments. We have 32 players under contract with World Championship Tennis, and Dallas is one of the stops with $50,000 in prize money. And the idea of this is to get a regular circuit going of 20 tournaments. At the end of each tournament, the winner gets so many points, runner-up, so on, right down. And this is to bring out to see who is actually the world champion on points. And it also is going to improve the game because we're going to play on a universal surface. Every time we play indoors, we'll be playing on the same type of surface. We'll be using the same ball. Before, we used to swap and change surfaces, change balls, and tennis is a hard enough game to play on a perfect surface, let alone changing all the time.
Would you expect that all of you will try to participate in all 20 of the tournaments? Is that a part of the contract at all?
Well, I think if you have any brains, you will, because you get so many points each tournament, and at the end of the year, we're playing the top 8 guys with the most points will play off for virtually the World Championship in Madison Square Garden, where the prize money is really big.
A group of Grand Prairie citizens, about 250 in number, want this sewage treatment plant closed, and they have even threatened to put up pickets to accomplish just that. The plant actually belongs to Arlington, although it is within the city limits of Grand Prairie. Recently, due to a construction to enlarge this plant, obnoxious odors have been emitted, and the citizens here claim that some bodily harm was caused them because of the odors. Grand Prairie officials claim Arlington has never received a permit to enlarge the plant to its present capacity. However, in speaking with the Utilities Director of Arlington today, John Kubala, he does say that a permit was obtained.
We do have a permit from the Texas Water Quality Board to operate this plant at a given rate. In other words, this permit was received by us after a public hearing to operate the plant.
Grand Prairie City Attorney Jerry Brownlow says that suit against Arlington will still be filed, and it will come within about 10 days on the grounds of Grand Prairie City ordinances and the Texas Clean Air Act. That suit will be filed in the county of Dallas.
Well, I think the remedy is money, personally, and I think that's the basic problem. The money is too dispersed. For instance, I'm talking about government subsidies. We're not setting up. There are no real avenues for playwrights. You know, playwrights are scattered. They get in college. They'll be working in college, and they don't know where to go, and they have to work. So instead of writing, they're working. And before they get a play through, maybe they send it to producers, and before a producer even reads a play, is months and months and months. And most producers don't even know what they're reading anyway. I think that's the problem. We don't have any centers for artists in this country. We don't have a national theater.
Well, I think there's a whole trend and change that's going on because of like Love Story. Things are going in a different area, and fortunately, it's going back to the medium of the artist and the good material, as opposed to just, you know, the exploitation and the quick get it out in the market because the skin is showing, you know.
But isn't that what this is, when dinosaurs ruled the earth?
Well, it appears that way because we are very scantily dressed, but it is a G-rated picture, and there is like a baby dinosaur that I train and communicate with. And so, in spite of, you know, what you see visually with the costumes, it's, the story is a love story, and it is something dealing with animals, you know, that attracts that medium and that audience.
Is this going to be the trend now in Hollywood toward more G-rated pictures?
I think so. I hope so.